Hello everyone, this is Lucas, and today we got an episode on semi-cordless power tools. Or you can call them semi-corded power tools. However you want to call it, that's what these are. Now you probably got some kind of drill or something laying around your house where the battery has long since it's probably not met its maker at all. It's probably in some trash dump causing toxic fucking leaking chemicals and shit everywhere. But no, it's probably given up the ghost and it's no longer working anymore. And you're probably just left with this drill. And if you're like me, you're like, oh, you know what? That was a really good drill. I don't want to throw it out if I can only get a battery for it. Yeah, right. If you look at the price of batteries today and inflation, forget it, man. I was in Lowe's the other day, and for a replacement battery for my Bosch drill, they want I think it was $170 for two batteries. It was ridiculous, man. Like tiny little no, it's too much. Not paying it. I get all kinds of car batteries where I do my videos and stuff like this. There's a truck stop just a few hundred feet away from me. There's always people doing all kinds of repair work, and they leave their toxic waste and batteries and all kinds of stuff around. And a lot of these batteries are still good. People just don't clean the posts, or maybe they're just a little low on electrolyte or whatever it is. But a lot of them I managed to actually fix and get a decent 12 volt rating out of them, 12.7, sometimes all the way as high as 13, depending on what's wrong with them. But anything over 12 volts I keep, because 12 volts I can charge with a panel. So I do charge these batteries with a panel throughout the day, and I also charge my phone with a separate panel I have in the morning and stuff like that. So I am green power. I don't use AC power unless I have to run my generator, which is very, very seldom. And it's not something that I like to do very much anymore at all, because solar is just way convenient. Once you get everything set up for the solar system to work, it's way convenient. And what I'm going to show you today is not endorsed by Black & Decker at all. It is not endorsed by any type of power tool company at all. This is simply a hack in order to get some old tools that you may have lying around working if you need them, because you never know where you're going to be or how things are going to unfold. There's probably a lot of people right now, especially in war-torn areas where you don't have access to power. This is a good help for you, because a Sawzall might be what it needs to save someone's life, right? So what you got to do is very simple. These old Black & Decker 18 volts are just a standard Phillips. So what I did was I took all the standard Phillipses out of the one side here, all the way to about here, where I was able to pry apart the casing and get at the two battery connectors that were originally in there that are no longer in there. As you can see, there's no battery connection terminals in there. I freed the actual little terminal clips themselves from the wires, stripped out the wires just a little bit, tinned them, and then soldered them onto this really heavy gauge speaker wire, being careful to mark the wire as positive and negative before I put the leads on and before I put it back together. So yeah, just a little tip: if you're using recycled wire that doesn't indicate your positive and negative from the get-go, it's a good idea to trace back both these wires, either via a continuity tester or however you're going to do it, or just running your finger along it until you get to the other end, and make sure you mark the wires. And in this case, I use two different kinds of electrical tape. I use a black and a red, and then I use a black and a red alligator clip. Now this battery's been on charge all day yesterday with solar, and I'm going to show you, even though this is an 18 volt and a 12 volt battery, yes, 18 volt Black & Decker, it says 14.4 volts, sorry, but yeah, okay, so 14.4 volts. This one here, I believe, was 18 volts. It doesn't matter. The tolerances in a lot of these cordless power tools are good enough that you can run it off of 12 volts, especially if you're pushing a higher amps on that 12 volts. It seems to not disrupt the operation of the device at all. Now that could be that I'm dealing with a Black & Decker product, and that actually Black & Decker is is the granddaddy of all power tools. They were the first, and Black & Decker does use good components in their tools. A lot of people think they're cheap, but actually DeWalt is Black & Decker. It's the same thing. And it could be that the tolerances in these Black & Decker tools are better than the other ones, but I'm going to show you right now that these things totally work. So I plug my two alligator clips up to my battery, and now I got a working Sawzall, right? To make sure that this didn't pull against anything in the casing, because there was no real way to secure the wires down there, all I did was drill a hole here, tie the wire, and then stick it up through the top, so that now there's no stress. And yeah, so Sawzall, and I also have a drill, Sawzall. Just so you know, there's no like friggin' wires or nothing like that, right? Nothing underneath. This isn't being plugged into anything. Right. Drill. This was never a good drill to begin with. You can hear it, right? The battery indicator, it don't know what the F is going on. I think I might have fried it actually. Yeah, whatever. It still works. But yeah, I mean, like, if I need a drill, I have a drill. If I need a Sawzall, I have a Sawzall. And I'm going to be working on a angle grinder next. I'm going to try to find a cordless angle grinder and turn it into a semi-corded or semi-cordless power tool, so that I can run a lot of my daily operations on nothing but sunlight. That's how you do it, man. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget our Patreon down below. Remember, when you're doing this kind of stuff, don't attempt this stuff if you don't know anything about like electrical soldering and all that kind of stuff. These are kind of advanced hacks, and they are dangerous. This isn't something you should be using inside. Like, it's not safe to be using inside. You are, you know, playing with the tolerances of electrical devices that aren't made for the tolerances you're exposing them to. If this drill blows up, it blows up. I mean, me, I don't care. Don't do this with tools you like. It's just something if you have to, right? If you have to do it, you have to. But this will put power into your pocket, and you will get a long run time off this battery. Like, an insanely long run time for a corded tool. This battery will cook this Sawzall if you continue to use it. You're not only running it to electrical tolerances, but heat tolerances on the device themselves, because these things aren't made to be run continuously. Even with really high-powered, you know, good Milwaukee stuff, I've melted power tools just by switching out batteries constantly on angle grinders and stuff like that. So overrunning these, but for a quick job, yeah, man, drive a couple nuts or cut your way out of something. So if you like these videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget our Patreon down below, and be careful when hacking with electrical, man. Oh, and if you're wondering why I got red painted on here, it's for low light conditions. All my batteries have a red on the red side. I don't know why battery companies don't do that, but it's so I don't confuse that terminal. And this little plus sign is really hard to see at night sometimes, and I'm not colorblind, so I can see it. So yeah, red is always red, and I don't get confused, and I'm not looking for that tiny little stupid plus sign in the dark when it's all dirty and dusty.